Now, without further ado, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger, pie, if you love it, Emp. Let's watch this one. The Monolith. The Monolith. Mono being mono, and lith being lith. Excuse me. It's him. The Shadowman. I wonder if this is actually like an actual live action thing. Knowing EmpLemon, it probably is live action. Hello, Sonic. The Sonic, welcome. Knowing EmpLemon, this is probably all like live action, maybe with a bit of compositing, such things. There it is. Admire that handiwork. And let's get out of here. Whoa. Whoa.
On November 18th, 2020, researchers in the Moab Desert discovered something
Moab?
unusual.
Like
While flying
balloons?
over a remote patch of wilderness, a lone passenger spots an artifact that, for all intents and purposes, should not exist.
Huh?
Standing in the middle of the rugged, dusty terrain is a thin pillar of metal. Its age, creator, and purpose are completely unknown. The structure is more than a dozen miles from the nearest signs of civilization. It stands about 3 meters tall and consists of what appears to be 3 stainless steel panels arranged in a triangular prism. The sheet metal is embedded in the ground with prefabricated grooves cut directly into the rock underneath. The whole object is in nearly pristine condition, with hardly any visible damage or wear.
Look at that.
It contains no writing or any details that could possibly reveal its origin. For the wildlife rangers who stumbled upon the site, it's the most peculiar thing they've ever seen, and as far as they know, they're the only people on Earth who are aware of its existence. The crew are now faced with an odd decision.
At the time.
Their immediate instinct is to share the mysterious object with the rest of the world, but doing so would attract a lot of unnecessary traffic to such a remote spot
tourists.
in the desert. Unassuming sightseers attempting to reach the landmark could end up getting lost or
Family
stranded.
funny moments.
With this in mind, the researchers arrive at a compromise.
I don't remember what that I don't remember what that episode was. Wasn't it Road to Europe or Road to it might be Road to Europe.
Attempting to reach the landmark could end up getting lost
Jolly
or
Farm
stranded.
and such.
With this in mind, the researchers arrive at a compromise. 2 days later, the Utah Department of Public Safety announces the discovery on its Instagram page.
Aliens?
The internet will get its
Could
first
it be
glimpse of the
aliens?
fascinating structure, with one catch. Its location was to remain undisclosed. In an official press release, the publishers chose to name the object under the curious label of the Monolith.
The Monolith.
The
Is that
term
Toy Story?
monolith is not very well defined. Broadly speaking, it can refer
Mono
to any
means
single
one,
massive
and
stone.
lith means
In the field
stone.
of geology,
And
the term
lith
may
means
describe a
lith.
distinct rock formation that stands out from the surrounding
Wow,
landscape.
look at
In
that. That looks
architecture,
cool.
A monolith is more specifically defined as a tall, freestanding spire. It's a form most closely associated with the stone obelisks of ancient Egypt. These ornate monuments started appearing nearly 4,000 years ago and signaled a turning point in the course of human civilization. When the ancient Egyptians first constructed these objects, no one had ever seen anything like them. Not only did they tower over the landscape, their proportions seemed to defy conventional wisdom.
How did they
If you've ever
do
tried
that?
to stack blocks as a kid, you understand that the taller you build something, the
Oh
more precarious it becomes. The laws
no!
of physics don't tend to agree with structures being both tall and slender. To unlock the obelisk, mankind had to reach a certain level of mastery in mathematics and craftsmanship.
Hey, you want to
Their
learn about
existence served as an
architecture?
unmistakable stroke
Well,
of
here you go.
intelligent design. However, perhaps the most significant detail about the obelisk is why they were constructed. Never before had so much skill been dedicated to something with no practical purpose.
Do tell us, Mr. YouTube man.
These monuments were never intended for any sort of human habitation. In fact, their purpose was entirely religious. They tested the limits of how far we could go to satisfy something that we envisioned as greater than ourselves. But it turns out that the desire to show our reverence may have actually revealed our arrogance. Because in attempting to appease the great deities
You're
of
building
nature,
to the
we
heavens.
produced something that could not possibly exist in nature. The obelisks were designed with a strict adherence to geometry. They were fashioned with fine edges, level faces, and precise angularity, properties which are forbidden for any stone produced by natural forces. They capture our attention not just as a prominent landmark, but as an indisputable creation of man. If you were trekking through the wilderness and spotted one of these on the horizon, you would know that other people must not be far. It was here where mankind's obsession with the monolith began. Before long, we started to worship the stone itself,
a mark on the land,
not necessarily what it represented. After the fall of the Egyptian Empire, the gods for whom these monuments once stood had been rendered null and void. However, the victorious Romans had developed their own affinity for the stones. They liked them so much that they found the tallest one they could and painstakingly shipped it back to Rome. This practice would go on to be repeated by many of history's most powerful nations. Today, ancient Egyptian obelisks can be found in Istanbul, Paris, London, and New York City.
New York City?
A totally different world. And now, they're far from the only monoliths around.
Dang, look at all those monoliths.
We currently live in the age of the skyscraper. Engineering marvels so sophisticated that they make the dusty stone blocks of the past look downright primitive. But as our towers soared higher and higher into the clouds, our relationship with the monolith started to change. In its modern usage, the word monolithic tends to carry a negative connotation. While the ancient obelisks evoked a sense of human familiarity,
once again, Mr. YouTube
today's
man,
skyscrapers achieve the opposite effect. Many would describe these things as cold and intimidating, which could just as easily describe the entities that occupy them. The modern world is filled with ambiguity. So much of our society is dictated by shadowy corporations that tower above us. Their motives are often murky and dubious, which makes their presence unnerving. As businesses have grown more greedy and dishonest, their relationship with the public has turned adversarial. Today's skyscrapers are much more than a simple show of force to the outside world. Their true purpose may actually be to conceal what takes place on the inside. In an age of paranoia and atomization, we now consider
a lot of bad things,
things to be far less human and far more alien.
Alien. A monolith!
Today, the single most well-known example of a monolith
like the year
can be found
2001.
in the realm of fiction. It serves as an ominous visitor in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Its design resembles little more than an opaque black box, but for such a basic prop,
the Sealate terminal,
an unsettling response.
The Sealate terminal.
The monolith stands out to us as a physical impossibility.
Or at least one of them.
Too smooth, too slender, and too perfect.
Smooth.
It appears
I like that word,
smooth. Where it absolutely should not
it's
exist.
so smooth.
Human beings
Who is
are
this
supposed to be
smooth?
the most intelligent creatures in our domain. It would be deeply threatening for us to encounter anything smarter.
The Fermi
Throughout the
paradox.
Film, the very presence of the monolith evokes suspense. It sits perfectly still, but it feels alive. When you look at it, you get the sense that it's staring.
You know, I actually never watched
the
this
monolith
movie.
Is real yet intangible.
Like, actually, I haven't actually
yet
watched it.
Incomprehensible. For us, it's a window into our deepest fears and our greatest desires. For whoever built it, we're just animals living in their world. If we're lucky, they'll show us mercy. It's strange to consider how an inanimate object can have such a powerful effect on our emotions. Sometimes, to truly understand ourselves,
My God,
we
it's
need
full
to
of
venture into the
stars.
abstract.
It's full of
The
ads.
things that blur the line between reality
Me visiting
and
Twitch.
imagination.
My God, it's
I
full of
believe that
ads.
most of the human experience is beyond the literal world in front of us. We're constantly troubled by places we
MRIs
can't
are
be and
crazy.
people we never see. We dedicate great amounts of time to worrying about the future or reminiscing about the past. Our minds race to make sense of the growing complexity that confronts us at each passing moment.
Kinda truin'.
The only time we truly get to rest is when we're lying in bed dreaming. Reality
dead.
is often unsatisfying.
That works
so
too.
we invent new ones. I can't say for certain what it is about the monolith that fascinates people so much, but for one chilly week in the Utah wilderness, we proved that after all this time, we're still obsessed with them. On November 20th, 2020, the Utah monolith was revealed to the world.
Damn, that was almost 5 years ago.
Radar until the DPS publishes an official report 3 days later. At this point, various online news outlets start to circulate the story, and before...
You know what's really weird is that I completely glossed over this story. Heck, it's the first time I've heard of this.
The monolith is going viral across the web. The public is fascinated by this thing, and they're eager to know more about it.
Find the monolith.
Officials have managed to keep its location a secret, but that wouldn't be the case for much longer. Now,
the internet.
Under normal circumstances, a story like this probably wouldn't have drawn so much attention. But the monolith just so happened to be discovered at a unique period in history.
COVID.
In the midst of a global pandemic with no end in sight, most of us had been cooped up indoors for months with very little to do. People are desperately searching for something, anything to feel excited about. They're spending way more time online, learning about the world, and trying to make the days pass just a little bit
did someone
faster.
find it in
A few hours
GeoGuessr?
after the press release,
Yep, there you go.
news of the monolith makes it to the GeoGuessr subreddit. Moments later, a particularly skilled individual makes it his mission to crack
Bear
the case
fucker.
by cross-referencing the
Nice.
geological clues with the probable flight path of the helicopter. The user is
Bear fucker's a 4chaner. Bear fucker's a 4chaner. Okay, so if you don't know remember the legacy of He Will Not Divide Us. Oh boy. Maybe we should actually watch that later.
able to pinpoint the exact location of the structure. The breakthrough helps unlock another mystery of the situation.
Those are the coordinates. Those are the coordinates. But yeah, the He Will Not Divide Us thing, oh my freaking lord, that is just iconic. It's classic. Such a classic video. I have to watch it.
By reviewing the historical satellite imagery on Google Earth, the user identifies that the monolith had been standing undiscovered since October of 2016. After 4 years of solitude, everything was about to change. As soon as the coordinates were revealed, curious visitors began to descend on the site.
Here we go,
drew
the
in people with
tourists.
wildly different motivations and backgrounds.
It's
There were
aliens!
outdoorsmen, photographers, reporters, clout chasers, UFO
Clout chase-
enthusiasts, and plain old skeptics who just had to see the thing for themselves. To their amusement, the monolith was far from an elaborate hoax. In the middle of the desert, tucked away at the bottom of a canyon, was the real thing. You could walk up and touch it, and even climb on.
Oh, it's even. Oh, it's got smudged.
You could.
Oh, that sucks. Stainless steel, you say? Okay then. What are these then? What are these? Stains? These are stains. I hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Walk up and touch it, and even climb on top of it. With no rules and no one around to enforce them.
That's awesome. Oh, this is awesome. This is like some Fifth Element shit right here. Hell yeah. Picks that go hard.
Pretty much do whatever they wanted once they got there. With each passing day, the number of onlookers continues to grow. The monolith is now becoming a full-blown tourist attraction, and the authorities are not happy.
Oh no,
Due
this is
to
the
its
exact
remoteness,
thing.
The site lacks any public infrastructure to handle the rise in traffic. Many people trying to access the destination are plowing directly through the landscape in off-road vehicles.
Uh-oh. Terraforming, but not in a good way.
Without any toilets or garbage bins, various forms of waste began to pile up around the area.
Shit and piss.
Officials are immediately concerned. The rise in activity could threaten local wildlife and damage nearby historical artifacts.
Oh
in
no,
the days after the reveal,
not the cave
several
paintings.
State agencies released public statements admonishing the spectacle. But beyond that, there's not much
it's the
that
fun
they can
police.
do. The monolith happens to reside on public land, falling under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Land Management. This type of domain is specifically designated for recreational use by American citizens.
Yeah, but is the monolith not subject to that?
Generally speaking, anyone is allowed to hike and camp here as long as they're following state laws. Aside from towing a few vehicles, officials can't really
Oof.
stop anyone from taking a trip to the middle of the desert. The
Yep.
crowds, however unpleasant, were legally allowed to be there. So there was no getting rid of the people. But what about the thing that was drawing them in?
Oh no.
In the United States, it is
Oh,
unlawful
no.
to build a permanent structure on federally managed land. This provision is primarily aimed at deterring squatters in shanty towns, but it also applies to artistic installations. The monolith, however discreet, had spent its entire existence as an illegal structure. The moment it was discovered,
Oh no.
it was running
Now
on
this is
borrowed
the fun.
time. On
Now
morning
it's
of
the fun
November
police.
28th, a new wave of eager onlookers venture out into the desert, but to their dismay, the monolith
Nothing
had
left.
vanished. Most presume that
Only
the
a
Bureau of
triangle.
Land Management finally stepped in, but they are quick to deny any responsibility. In fact, no official agency
Bog.
had authorized the removal of the structure. Eventually,
Bogged.
a photographer comes forward claiming to have witnessed the monolith's final moments.
Tell us!
That on the night of the 27th, a group of 4 men surrounded the object, tore it down, and hauled away the remains in a wheelbarrow. All of a sudden, this
Oh.
mysterious group of vigilantes had quite literally stolen the spotlight.
Damn. 4 guys rounded the corner and 2 of them walked forward. They gave a couple of them pushes on the monolith and one of them said, "You better have got your pictures." He then gave it a big push and it went over, leaning to one side. He yelled back to his other friends that they didn't need the tools. The other guy with him had the monolith and said, "This is why you don't leave trash in the desert." Then all 4 of them came up and pushed it almost to the ground to one side before they decided to push it back to the other when it then popped out and landed on the ground with a loud bang. They quickly broke it apart as they were carrying to the wheelbarrow that they had brought. One of them looked back at us and all said, "Leave no trace." That is at 8:48. Boo! Fun ruiner!
By now, the monolith had become a national fascination, and the public demanded answers for what led to its demise. Soon
Yeah.
enough, one of the culprits reveals themselves. On December 1st, a slackline performer by the name of Andy Lewis posted a video to various social media platforms. The footage depicts himself and 3 accomplices dismantling and removing the monolith on the night in question. Lewis's motive was simple. He wanted to restore the landscape to its natural state.
Boo! Hippie! Boo! Boo these hippies!
Prior to the intervention,
God damn hippies. Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on 1 sec. Hold on. Patchouli oil, entitlement, poster board glue, smooth hands. My God. Hippies.
Vehicles had been seen near the site of the monolith. If left unabated for much longer, it's possible that number could have risen to the thousands. For Lewis and his buddies, the spectacle was already out of control. Unwilling to wait for an official investigation, they decided to take matters into their own hands. Needless to say, many were not too pleased with the explanation. At this point,
there
the
you
public
go.
seemed to care more about the monolith than
What did the
environment
monolith-
around it. And the folks
What
who
did they
took
do
it
to
away
you?
ended up receiving a considerable amount of backlash.
Yeah,
Critics
fun
were quick to
ruiner.
point out that Lewis had been previously banned from the park system for illegal base jumping, which shed some doubt over his status as a conservationist martyr. Over the next few weeks,
asshole.
several members of the party claimed to have experienced harassment and even
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm legally required to say this, but don't go on witch hunts. This was 4 years. This was like 5 years ago, so don't go on witch hunts. Forgive but never forget. That's what I say.
death threats over the matter. Eventually, Lewis would publish a follow-up video showing a mostly reconstructed monolith in his backyard. In the same post, he attempted to clarify some of the ongoing drama around the removal. Seemingly backtracking a bit on his original motive, he mentions rescuing the monolith from a supposed rival plot to destroy it, although
Yeah,
this detail
likely
has never really
story.
been substantiated. He also
Likely
claims to have donated
story.
the remains to the Bureau of Land Management so that its origin could be properly investigated. But after all this time,
I thought it meant
whatever
another thing.
investigations were conducted have
But
brought
whatever.
us no closer to
fine.
finding the mysterious creator
Unfortunate
of the monolith.
acronym.
During this whole fiasco, no credible artist ever claimed responsibility for installing the structure.
They
This
did it for the
was
love of the
possibly
game.
due to fear of legal repercussions, but it's hard to deny the temptation that this anonymous mastermind may have experienced. For about a week-long period, the artist behind the monolith could have potentially become one of the most famous people in America. Who knows what
Yeah, they
that could have
could
done
have.
for their career, or how much extra money they could have made down the line. But whatever the case, it's clear that whoever built it had more important things in mind than fame and fortune.
The love of the game, just providing art.
The public
Art
would
for the
try
sake of
in
art.
vain to find them. The monolith was initially attributed to visual artist John McCracken, who lived in the Southwest.
Brother
and
of
had
Craig
a history of
McCracken?
making
I'm
similar
just kidding.
sculptures.
I'm just
However,
kidding.
his death predated the installation by about 5 years,
Damn.
making his involvement rather unlikely. Currently, the most plausible culprit may actually be a Utah welder by the name of Derek Despain. He was known to build metal structures
lead.
that resembled what was found in Moab, and supposedly lived just an hour away from the site. Curiously, around the time of its discovery, Despain vanished from all social media. Thus far, he has yet to comment publicly
A
about
lead.
the matter.
Definitely
At this
a
point,
lead.
it seems unlikely that the true creator will step forward anytime soon. Perhaps we're better off not knowing.
Yeah. It's
Human beings are driven
mysterious.
by the unknown, the ethereal, the parts of life that still feel like magic. I believe that if the monolith had been a conventional sculpture by a documented artist, it would not have come close to the same level of notoriety.
Yeah.
It certainly would not have contributed to what came next. The end of the Utah monolith was only the beginning of something far greater. Over the next few
Ooh,
weeks, people
copycat
start discovering other
monoliths.
monoliths. They are showing up all around the world. Just like
Whoa.
the original, nearly all of them are of unknown origin. Appearing mysteriously and anonymously, they number in the hundreds. It's almost certainly the most
Whoa.
monoliths that humanity has ever constructed over a 1-month period.
Very
As was the case with their
interesting.
predecessor, most would be swiftly confiscated and dismantled. For a
No!
brief window of
Damn
time,
you.
the monolith ruled the day. There's a good chance that we still haven't found them all.
Gotta find them all. It's like an Assassin's Creed game.
None of this
It's like
had
an
to
Ubi
happen.
box.
When
Gotta
the
discover
original
'em all.
researchers first laid eyes on the shiny metal object in the middle of the desert, nothing was stopping them from just tearing it down and keeping the whole thing a secret. And yet, against their better judgment, they decided to show the rest of us what they found. Some primitive instinct convinced them that the world needed to see it. At a moment when many of us were experiencing the most miserable days of our lives,
Aliens?
we had finally found something to feel excited about. In hindsight, this whole period was just one big fever dream that
Oh,
most
dang
of
it.
us would
Whoops. Anyway.
be happy to forget. However, for a span of time characterized by so much dysfunction and hostility, it's nice to know that in
Man,
the
that
middle
was a
of it
rough
all,
year.
people never lost
2020
touch
was
with
a
what
really
makes us human.
Rough
In our
rough
most
year.
trying days, we could still
Rough,
go out in
rough
the
year.
world and make something cool for everyone else to
Cool.
enjoy.
Just make something cool. Just make something that people will like. Very nice.
If you're watching this, you probably can't name any individual who was alive 3,000 years ago when the first obelisk was constructed.
Of course not.
3,000 years from now, practically everyone alive today is destined to meet the same fate. The
Dang.
term monolith has one other meaning. In the field of anthropology, it refers to extraordinary wonders that were left behind by
Wonders.
people who are now long
It's
gone.
a modern
Beyond a
wonder.
certain point, we can never really know who they were and what they stood for. The only evidence we have of their existence is what they
The
created.
Nazca lines. Ooh. And this is our modern landmark.
The Moab Desert is home to ancient petroglyphs. Some of them date back even further than the earliest Egyptian pharaohs. The dry
Ooh.
climate and solid terrain has preserved these artifacts remarkably well. The markings represent a one-way message through time. In a vague sense, we can understand them, meaning that whoever painted them must not have been so different from you and I.
They
As
have
long as
little
this narrow
wings.
thread connects
That's
them to
awesome.
the present, they will not be truly forgotten. In the end, human expression will outlive human beings. The things we give to the world will eventually be our only legacy within it. We can never know the people of tomorrow, but hopefully, they'll get to know something about us. What we leave behind for them will probably
Here
be
we
ambiguous,
are.
just like the times we currently inhabit. In the
Wait, was that? Oh, okay, two things. There's a Homer Simpson sign right here. Eat more chicken. It's hidden behind chat, though. It's a Chick-fil-A ad. Not sponsored. Look at that. Look at that. Eat more chicken. It's like Chick-fil-A.
In the distant future, long after the last trace of our modern zeitgeist has faded away, our descendants will be taking a trip through the desert where they will discover something unusual. At the bottom of the canyon in the middle of nowhere, they notice a triangular cavity inexplicably cut into the ground. Unlike the other ancient artifacts that can be found nearby, this one seems to serve no discernible purpose. The observers are puzzled as to who made it and for what reason. It's so bizarre and out of place that some of them swear it must have been aliens.
Aliens. Aliens.
We're counting on you. Don't let us down.
Young Damini 12, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Summit crew. I hope you enjoy your stay. But yeah. If you can't explain it, it's aliens. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.